We see Jeffrey Bosa near the top of the tackles list right there, 72 last year. Also had a pick six. Look at that. Don't recall that one, but
Texas Tech, the clincher down in
really?
Lubbock,
Oh, that
week
was the
two.
clinch. Okay.
Yeah, that was
In
the
the
clincher. That was
38-30,
the,
yeah, to give them the
and
breathing room.
also, Oregon was a 6.5 point favorite in that game. Jeff Bosa his nickname should be Jeffrey Backdoor Cover Bosa.
It certainly should be. And so I don't like him quite as much as I did before because I remember thinking, oh, this is a great pick. I took
Texas Tech plus
points.
6.5, too many points. It's the old, I thought Oregon would win, but Texas Tech would cover.
Yes,
Look how smart I am. And then boom, pick six, 38-30 final.
Yes, you read my mind, and that's exactly what was going through my mind watching that. A really good football game.
Fantastic game.
So, yeah, Bosa is tremendous. And then Justin Jacobs, he was nicked up early, but he made a late push as one of the best players in the conference at his position.
Yeah, I like what Jacobs brings. Came over from Iowa last year. Unfortunately, didn't really make his debut until about the Washington State game, which was week 7. And I thought he was fantastic. You know, he's physical, can get after the quarterback a little. His only sack of the year did come in that Washington State game, but you know, I hope he's not thinking about it. I, of course, have thought about it far too much, but he was at fault for the touchdown that Washington scored to clinch the Pac-12 title game on 3rd and goal. You know, it was his coverage assignment on the tight end, basically a one-man route, and his eyes got caught in the backfield. I don't know if that's motivating him to play even better next year, but certainly when he was on the field, I think Oregon felt it. And early in the season, you know, you had Bryce Betcher, who is a two-sport athlete with the Ducks. He starts in center field for the Oregon baseball team, and Mark Wazikowski. And, you know, I think that he did a lot of nice things. He was a standout in the spring game. He started at linebacker and, you know, had some nice moments, but overall, he's not the same caliber of player that Justin Jacobs is. So, you know, Jeff Bosa, Justin Jacobs is your money and your Mac backers. That is a really, really good, you know, productive and experienced tandem.
Talking Ducks, we got Spencer McLaughlin here. So here we go as we look at the Oregon secondary. You had to be rough on your rivals here, taking Jabbar Muhammad.
Yeah, I don't think that one went over very well up in Montlake, but Oregon's certainly happy to have him because we know how good he is capable of being and how good he was last year and how good he'll probably be this year for the Ducks secondary. And when you talk about the questions on Oregon's defense, it's defensive tackles number 1 and it is secondary number 2. The only surefire starters that I can give you right now are Kobe Savage, the Kansas State transfer, at safety, and Jabbar Muhammad at corner. That's it. And you got 5 DBs on the field at all times. And again, you know, guys get rotated in and out. So, you know, last year, Oregon probably had to go about, you know, with some injuries, 8 to 9 deep in the defensive secondary. And I can tell you the top 2. But as for the order of how other guys are, it's a mystery because you've got Brandon Johnson coming over from Duke as a nickel, where he's 2-time All-ACC honorable mention over the last couple of seasons. And then you've got, you know, Nico Reed, who also played nickel, but also played some outside corner. Jalil Florence was the starting corner until he got hurt, and he's not going to play in spring football because he's injured. So how healthy will he be next year? I don't know. We'll see how well he's able to recover. They brought in Cam Alexander, who was an All-American Conference selection from UTSA, and they've still got Tysheem Johnson there, who played nickel and, you know, safety over the top as well. So a lot of options. Frankly, I have no idea how it's going to look. I really don't. They also brought in the number 1 JUCO corner in Sione Lalea, who, you know, could switch over and play safety if needed, but I have no idea. I honestly, Mark, have no idea. This is one of the things I'm going to look for in the spring game and, you know, reading spring practice reports and whatnot is who's the first, who are the first 5 defensive backs Oregon puts on the field when they play August 31st at Autzen Stadium against Idaho. My guess right now, you'd have Savage at a safety, Tysheem Johnson a safety, Brandon Johnson nickel, Jabbar Muhammad 1 corner, and probably Jalil Florence the other corner. That'd be my guess. And I feel like 40% confident in that.
And a lot of people would respond, does it matter? But of course, it will eventually matter.
Of course it matters. Of course it matters. Of course it matters. You're going to play Ohio State eventually, and Washington will be throwing the football plenty. So you're going to need a good pass defense there. Everybody else, though?
Yeah. Brandon Johnson, I see 32 games played, a lot of football there at Duke, 56 tackles last year. And Kobe Savage, he's a bit of a ball hawk, 3 picks the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, and Oregon's been missing that from their safeties. I mean, they've had... I mean, frankly, by Oregon standards, they've had below-average safety play. In 2021, Verone McKinley led the country in interceptions. And, wasn't a huge NFL guy, but Oregon just hasn't had a lot of playmakers at safety over the last couple of years that have been able to translate, some physical talents perhaps, or being kind of highly touted recruits or coveted transfers. Just hasn't really translated on the field. Tyshim Johnson had 2 picks last year, and both of them were within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. And that's great, but that's where he's thriving. And if you're talking about rangy, ball-hawking safeties over the top to break up passes and intercept the ball, Oregon just hasn't had that really since Verone McKinley left. And I think they've been searching for that, and we'll see if they found that in the form of Kobe Savage or Brandon Johnson.